New question. Member from Barrie.
Thank you, Speaker. My question this morning is to the Minister of Northern Development and Mines. Last week, as we know, this government delivered the first balanced budget in nearly a decade. In it, there are strong examples of how this government is supporting communities and businesses in Northern Ontario. Investing in the North is a critical part of this government's plans to build Ontario up by supporting job creation and creating a dynamic and innovative business climate. Mr. Speaker, can the minister please provide us with examples from the budget of how this government is making life easier for those living in the North?
Thank you. Minister of Northern Development and Mines.
Speaker, I want to thank the member from Barrie for her question. Like those in the province, the North benefited greatly from our investments in the healthcare system. Speaker, my main hospital in Thunder Bay Regional Health Sciences Centre, will see about a $4 million base increase to their budget. Very good news for Thunder Bay Regional. I know the hospital in Sault Ste. Marie will receive almost a 5% increase in their base funding for the hospital in Sault Ste. Marie. Very significant. I want to thank the Minister of Health as well, Speaker. A $10 million increase in the Northern Health Travel Grant, a very significant piece for people right across the North. People may be aware that the basic income pilot will be trialled for 3 years in Thunder Bay, Speaker, and perhaps the most significant piece in the budget for those of us in the North is an increase, Speaker, of $100 million, up to a total of $650 million for the Northern Highways program in Thunder Bay and right across Northern Ontario. And I'm going to just remind the Minister of Transportation to make sure he transfers that money over to the Ministry of Northern Development and Mines so we can do all that great work across Northern Ontario.
Supplementary.
Thank you, Minister, for setting the record straight in this House. I know that Northern Ontario is a top priority for our government, and it is clear that the increased investments made throughout the North will have a positive impact on communities and businesses in the North. I know we have a long record of investing in Northern Ontario, which clearly continues today, as reflected in this year's budget. But this past week, we heard the opposition making misleading claims about our ongoing support.
The member will withdraw.
Withdraw.
Doesn't matter.
Mr. Speaker, can the minister please set the record straight?
Thank you, Minister.
Well, Speaker, it was with a bit of amusement when I got back to my riding in Thunder Bay and listened to the attempt by the critic for the North from the opposition party in his attempts to grab a headline. He didn't want to talk about OHIP Plus. That's understandable. He was trying to do a bit of a bait and switch, Speaker, saying that, for way of example, the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund was being gutted or declining in terms of its funding. Speaker, very clearly, still $100 million there for the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund, also implying that the Ministry of Northern Development and Mines budget was going down. No, Speaker, there was one-time funding in there in 2016. That money was no longer needed. Abandoned mine sites were cleaned up. The money no longer required. No reduction in the budget to the Ministry of Northern Development and Mines. But most humorous, I would say, was the criticism by the member that we are no longer making a commitment to the Ring of Fire, the $1 billion, because it wasn't in the budget. Speaker, in the past, his criticism would have been that another re-announcement. So if it had been in the budget, he would have been criticizing us for putting it in there again, and this time he's trying to criticize us for not having it in there. Speaker, we're very committed. The bill.